girl, you got it. Ay, you got it, girl.
Alright guys, so we are just going to jump right into it. I'm going to show you 2 ways you can measure your flare. So you can either start at your knee and measure all the way down, just measuring your pants leg, depending on how high you want your flare to be or how low you want it to be. Or you can measure the full pants leg, so where the pants begin all the way down, and then you can kind of mark where you want the flare to start and measure out how far out you want the flare to be. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's always good to use your pants as a guide to help you create your pattern. So I just took those pants off. Make sure you fold them like so, and make sure the middle of the pants is not tucked under and it's sticking out the way you see here when it's time to make your pattern. Next, you're going to want to take your pants and lay them out on some gridded paper, and you're going to go ahead and trace. Give yourself at least a 1/2 inch of seam allowance. If you're not sure, then give yourself 1 inch. You can always go back and take it in if need be. And now you see me taking my measurement that I took earlier from my knee all the way down to the end of the pants, and I'm going to mark where I want my flare to start. And then as I continue to trace, I'm going to measure outwards and draw my line in a diagonal to make a flare. So I'm just going to draw my line and extend it out from the pants. So once I completely trace out my entire pattern, I am going to start to cut the pattern out as you see me doing here. Oh, and forgive me, I know you cannot see my markings on the paper because I did use pencil. So for future reference, I'll be sure to use a black marker so it's easier for you to see. But like I said, you're just simply tracing the pants out because you pretty much have your pattern, because you're tracing the pants for the most part. You're just extending the leg at the bottom. And then your pattern should look something like this. Okay guys, disclaimer. So when I purchased this fabric, I end up purchasing 2 yards when I really should have purchased at least 2.5 or 3, because I really did want a big dramatic flare. But I really wanted to make this video for you guys. So my pattern that I traced out, the flare was way too wide for the fabric. I didn't have a whole lot of fabric to work with, but I was like, you know what, the show must go on. So I'm just going to freestyle my cuts. So if you're doing this on your own, you'll definitely be using the pattern that you traced out. I'm just using the pants that I had earlier, and I'm just going to freestyle my cut, but it's going to be fairly similar to what I just traced out. My flare just won't be as wide. Also, if you would like info on the fabric that I am using, I am going to leave a link in the description box. I did purchase the fabric from Joanns. Their jean fabric is a little pricey, but then again, you always do have the coupons that you can use for 50% off a yard, which is always a steal. But if I don't find the exact link that I use at Joanns, I will definitely be sure to find something similar for you guys, so that way you can purchase it online. So once you cut out one pants leg, then you're going to go ahead and cut out the other leg. And same concept, just take your cutout that you just used and place it on top of the fabric, and then just follow the pattern that you just cut out as a guide to cut out your second one. And then once you cut your patterns all the way out, you should have a total of 4 patterns to work with. Okay, so this is what your cutout should look like, fairly similar to this. And now what we're going to do is just work with one pants leg at a time. So you want the fabric to be facing right sides together. And then you're going to want to match each corner and each side of the pants, match them all the way around, and then we're going to pin it on the outside of the leg pants and the inside, which you'll see me do here, but we're not going to pin that curve that's going to be the inside of the pants, like the crotch. We're not going to sew that close. And it is time to sew. So we are starting with the outer side of the pants leg first, and we're just going to sew all the way down. Make sure you do a back stitch when you begin sewing and at the end. Now we're going to work on the middle. Do not sew that curve, the crotch of the pants. You will see why later. Just go ahead and just sew that whole side closed. Don't forget to do a back stitch. Okay, so this is what it should look like sewn. The crotch is still open, but the sides are sewn together. Okay, so now it's time to sew the middle, which would be considered the crotch area. Make sure that those two seams are matching up, and I'm going to try my best to describe this to you. So we have our two open pieces here, right? So the best way, the guide is to match those two seams together and pin them. Now we're just going to just take little by little and just match those seams right sides together. So you just see how I'm just picking them up and just pinning them. You're going to do that in the front and in the back. Okay, so now I'm doing the other side. I just simply lifted the crotch area up a little bit so I can be able to grab a hold of the other side, and I'm doing the exact same thing that I did on the other side of the pants. And you're just going to pin them all the way to the ends. Okay, so after you pin them, if you pull the pants up, if you look inside, you will see that the crotch area from one end all the way to the other, it's pinned all the way around. And what you're going to do is sew that whole thing closed. So you can either start at the crotch and sew one part and then go back to the crotch and sew the other part, or you can start at one end and just sew straight through until you get to the other end of the pants. Now that everything's sewn, you got yourself a pair of pants. Now what you're going to see me do here is just clean up my edges here. Now you can do two things. Since this jean fabric was really stretchy, what I ended up doing was just adding a elastic band and did a invisible elastic like I did in my t-shirt video, or which I highly recommend you do, which I plan on doing in my next videos, is just adding a zipper, because it's just more efficient and it's easier to put on. But yeah, these are what the pants are looking like. They're super cute. I wore them on my birthday. So if you guys have any questions or would like to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.